First, I was actually the third person picked to give a speech. Kevin and I were talking about graduation speeches with Miss Claude, and she said, I choose Kevin and T-Pain. But he was busy. Something about being on a boat. I don't know.
There's going to be a bunch of inside jokes.
Second, after people found out I was picked, someone suggested I sing this in a Scottish accent. But there is no way I'll be singing my blues speech, nor will it be in a Scottish accent. Sorry to disappoint. Dear McAudience, so I sat down to write my speech about 2 weeks ago, and that's when I think I fully realized what this speech meant. I thought to myself that these may be some of the last words I get to say to some of you, and it made me think, what do I want to say? Do I want to talk about the past or look to the future? Talk about goals or accomplishments? Or just give a short moment from high school and analyze it for meaning? For a moment, I just couldn't decide what I wanted to say, because there were like over 9,000 different things. I thought, maybe I'll just get up on stage and do it live. But the only way that would get approved is if I did a barrel roll to get past the administration. Whatever I said had to be legit, but at the same time, I still wanted it to have a little bit of a deeper meaning. To those of you sitting in front of me, you may want to pay attention, because this will be on the AP exam. And for those of you that don't seem to understand some of this, I apologize if my speech just seems like a hot mess. A high school graduation is always described as a transition from the sheltered world of youth into the real world with real people and real jobs. We don't get to just truncate our lives at this point and be judged only on the past 4 years. That doesn't mean, however, that these few years are not worthy of reflection. You may find it valuable to pause and assess who you are and what you want to do from here on out. If you don't have any idea about who you are now, then how can you know where you want to go or if you want to change? So I want you to think about your high school experience and how it helps to define who you are today. Because, let's be honest, we have matured a lot since we entered this building as little freshmen. Well, at least some people have. So now that we're this mature group of people, I just want you to think what you tell someone if they ask who you are. The obvious answer is something like, well, I'm like Petro. But does your name really define who you are to others? Does it say that your favorite animal is a cephalopod, or a star-nosed mole, or a giant isopod, or even a cnidarian? No. Does it say that your TI-89 is your baby? It doesn't. Does it say that you're only afraid of really big spiders, like in Harry Potter, and going into Panera, and they're like, we're all out of cheese? No, it doesn't. When it comes down to it, it's the things that you've experienced over the past 4 years that help to define who you are today. Now, I don't want to ignore the people that have helped us get through these years. While it may hurt a tiny bit to admit that your mom doesn't speak well English, you love her anyways, because she is your mother and has always been there for you. And let's not forget that it's your father's DNA, which is blue, that is in every one of your cells and helps make up who you are. Or the fact that it makes you smile inside when you see your teacher walk in his wolf sweater every day. But as much as our family and teachers have supported us, I really want to focus on the people graduating today. We, as a class, have influenced one another, and graduation is, I think, the most appropriate day to reflect upon the effects we've had on each other. Throughout 4 years, I know who can be defined as a Superman, whose Dickian ratio is no good, and who wants to be a Sith Lord. I know who gets worked up about the 5 sizes of shrimp, and for the record, who gets to decide that it goes jumbo, colossal, then extra jumbo. I know that some people will be generals in an archaeobject army. I even know the kids that will someday fly a rafflecopter over the Arc de Triomphe. Ay, Dios mío, there's just so many things to say about others, and I hope it makes you think, what can be said for yourself? Now, once you've begun to think about who you are, and hopefully have realized that you are more than just a name, I want you to also think about where you want to go, and if you like who you are. And I hope you always keep some of your life goals from high school in mind. If you want to go to Barbados, or the Ganges, or go get tacos with your teachers, don't let that go. If you want to be a pro Linsky Cup player, go for it. Just remember, everything you do does happen IRL, so you have to be able to live with it and the consequences. Don't get pwned by seeking out a ridiculous dream. But that doesn't mean you can't keep that dream and help let it define you. Once you know who you are, think about where you want to go. And remember that if you don't have to define yourself by the end of today, just eventually, because it's better Nate than Lever. So stop and take a breath, and don't forget to anti-breathe. Take it all in and think about it. Asexually digest the thought of it all. This experience doesn't just define me. It's yours as well. No es mío, pero es suyo también. I hope you can look back at how it defined you, and I hope you don't falcon punch yourself because of regret. If anything, I hope you use a harpoon gun to fire at memories, latch on, and bring them back. So as you move on from here, know who you are when you go into the real world. If you need to, use your field body survival kit to help you deal with any problems along the way. Please learn this so that when you have to question who you are and who you want to be, you can remember that you are a member of the class of 2009. Congratulations on making it. Love, Petro. Fade out. Selected faculty speaker, Mr. Dustin Cherico.